Well, hi, Jewers. Hi, I'm back with 20 books 2023. We call this in 2022. So, but anyway, okay, it's November. It's a clear day for once. My husband's so on and off the last couple of weeks. So, now I read this book. I actually sought this out. It's now with Jews. Go back to the library. Now, it's very interesting as well because this book only came out just about 10 years after World War II ended. It's a very, very interesting book of World War II seen from the point of view of children. Okay, three children who were lost, three children who were trying to reunite their family, three children who were forced to grow up way before they should. So, it's called A Silver Sword by Ian Serraillier. Okay, I'll read the blurb. The night the Nazis come to take the mother away, three children escape in the terrifying scramble across the rooftops. Alone in the chaos of Warsaw, they have to learn to survive on their own. Then they meet Jan, a ragged boy with a paper knife, the silver sword, and they recognise as belonging to their long-lost father. The sword becomes a symbol of hope, as with Jan, they begin the hazardous journey across war-torn Europe to find their parents. Okay, so interesting as well. Now, one thing we are very fortunate in the last 70 years is we've had abundance of fiction, literature, historical textbooks about the Nazi regime, about the pain and misery they caused across the world, clearly, okay? So, even though we had such terrible things happening, we have all this information now. Now, one thing that people always kind of say is, why didn't people speak up against the Nazis? Why didn't people rise up against them? This is a story about a family who does. Now, this family, they were not Jewish, okay? They were just simple individuals in Warsaw who, one individual, it was the father, he rose up against the Nazis by turning a pitch around in his schoolroom. Yeah, he turned a pitch around in his schoolroom, and his entire family paid the price for it. Yeah, right. This bit here. Warsaw under the Nazis was a place of terror, and without the father to protect them, the Balickis, that's the family, had a grim time of it. But worse was in store for them. They were to endure hardships and conditions that made them think and plan and act more like adults than children. Great responsibilities were to fall across Ruth. Many of the girls had to face difficulties as great as hers. But if there were any who faced with as much courage, unselfishness, and common sense as she did, I'd not heard of them. Yeah, Edith, her brother, Bronya's sister, the little one, she's a toddler, and Ruth. Mother is taken away. They are left to fend for themselves in a bomb shelter, in a shelter, and steal, bargain. Ruth starts this school, and around the same time is their father actually, he escapes from a concentration camp. He hides up in the mountains and he knocks out a guard, steals the uniform, and due to the compassion of others, makes it home. Which is a terrible thought because there is a point within a story that the family were in the same city at the same time, but they didn't know it. Isn't that the most heartbreaking thing? During the rubble of his home, after he was taken away, his wife was taken away, the family was destroyed, the children escaped. So, okay, Joseph, the father, meets Jan going through the debris of what used to be his house, and he finds a silver sword that the book is named after. Okay, right. Give me the sword, Jan said. But it's mine, said Joseph. You found it on my pitch. This is my place. Joseph explained about his house and how this rubble was all that was left of it. Right. I'm looking for my family. Ruth is the oldest. She'll be 15 by now. Tall and fair. There's Edith. He'll be 13. Bronya is the youngest. She'll be 5. So Jan says to Joseph, fine, if I meet your family, I'll tell them all about you. But then time passes on, and then Jan actually meets the family in the shelter. But by this point, war has taken such a toll on his emotional state. Everyone's emotional state. He doesn't remember Joseph. He doesn't remember the names of the children. He's been living with them for quite some time, but he's forgotten them. It's not what this book makes it marvellous. It's not what it says or what it doesn't says. It tells a straightforward story, but there's the undertext. Like, Bronya, every time she gets pencils and paper, she draws the world around her. The world around her is soup kitchens, pain and misery and darkness. Okay? That's Bronya. You have Ruth, who's only a teenager, suddenly thrust into this world of adulthood, taking care of her family. Edic, the brother, he disappears. He's captured and taken to a camp, and he actually eventually the family are reunited. So it's these children who are just thrust into this adult situation, and at the time they're experiencing pain and hunger, degradation and misery. That's not hinted at, but you know it's there, right? And this bit here, okay, is really kind of rams at home. Is people say, why didn't anyone know what the Nazis were doing? This bit here underlies the fact that they didn't, right? When Ruth asked the Polish Council protection about their mother, she was told that they were taken off to Germany to work on the land. No one could say they were part of Germany, that there were many times to ask and they found out any more. The war ends soon, they were told. Be patient, your mother will come back. But the war dragged on and the patience was to be sorely tried. Right, because their mother's in a concentration camp. The innocent mother did nothing wrong. Okay, it was a husband who turned that picture of Adolf Hitler across, and she is in a camp. Right. Now, whilst this is going on, they receive word that their father is in Switzerland. So they go from Poland to Switzerland, Warsaw to Switzerland. It's an arduous journey. They meet people on the way. They live outdoors. They leave their cellar camp to survive outdoors. Edic, who after the family's been reunited, is cleared from tuberculosis, and so to survive in this wilderness whilst they're living outdoors and camping, Jan steals. Jan steals from the Americans, soldiers who were coming in, the Allied nations, and he's captured. And one thing I love about this book is that it doesn't hold back on the absolute hypocrisy of what has happened to this country. This bit here. Right. It's American food you've been stealing, not Nazi food. It's been sent to feed you and all the other refugees by flooding the country. If you steal it, you are robbing from your own people. Do you think that's right or sensible? Said the captain. Right. I want to feed Ruth and Brynja and Edith, said Jan fiercely. Edith is ill and we are all hungry. I should always steal if they were hungry. Do they steal? No, but not clever as I am. But everyone else does, even the Americans. I take cameras and glasses from the Germans. There's 100 cases of wine in your canteen all stolen. I know where they got it from. Right. He's not wrong. He is not wrong. One thing I absolutely love about this book isn't hold back, okay, to say for a child of refugee to say to a guard, okay, the captain after he's been captured, okay, you say we're stealing from our people, but you've been stealing from us. The Nazis stole from us. I love this book for not holding back with the hypocrisy of what these people endured. So they find eventually to a kindly farmer. This is when the family is then told that due to the fact they're Polish, even though they're trying to make their way to Switzerland, they have got to return back to Poland. And they decide no. And decide something very, very audacious at the time to get a boat into Switzerland. Terrible river, rapids. Jan, who has been working at this farmer, so with his farm, he has a dog which he loses. He carries around his little treasures in a little box, okay, his little trinkets and treasures at most, 5-finger discount, my friend. And it's ridiculous what that they would do, but it's damn near heroic too. And also, reading this book is that Ruth and Jan are pretty much the same age. But all in this time, Ruth has been the mother figure. She is the one, okay, who's been the mother figure for all these children. Yeah, I'm including Jan in that. And finally, there comes a point where once in these rapids mother needs to stop and Jan grows up. Right. Here we are. In Ruth's face he saw what he had hardly noticed before. There had long been there. Courage, self-sacrifice and greatness of heart. Jan hesitated no more. He had lost Ludwig the dog, but he had not lost Ruth, and the treasure book was still safe under his arm. Right. He threw the box into the boat, jumped in, and seized the oar. Sidling over the stream, he shoved the boat into the current. In that moment of decision, Jan began to grow up. Right. So Jan saves the family, and they're reunited with their family in Switzerland. Joseph, who suffered greatly, all suffered greatly. One thing I adore about this book, it doesn't hesitate to show this entire family now has PTSD. And Jan, who's been with this family, kind of inherited them. I mean, he had a cat and then he had a chicken. They both died. And then obviously he lost a dog. But this bit here really kind of rams at home. Now, the silver sword, which is a glorified pencil opener, so letter opener, that's what the silver sword is, okay, is that Jan loses his treasures, but there's this bit here that really kind of rams at home, is when he meets, this bit here, is when he meets the mother of the family, and, oh, and also, find a chimpanzee, a bit humour in this book. I'd have saw, said Jan, putting a long face. He looked at Joseph. He had lost a sword, we never would have found you again. He bared his chest, and there hanging from a string on his neck was a silver sword. He untied the sword and handed it to Ruth's mother. It was the precious of all my treasures, he said. Joseph gave it to me, but it's yours now. You can keep it forever if you'll be my mother. Jan gave it to Joseph's wife to say, please be my mum. Because he's got to know his family. And something I think is his fear. And now they're all reunited, he's going to lose that. So he says, please be my mum. This PTSD of this family that they've all suffered greatly. Bronya asks to stay in Switzerland. Every time she draws the pain and misery and degradation. She's a very talented artist. Edek has to be sent to a sanatorium for tuberculosis. And Ruth who lost her childhood. Ruth who lost her child being a mother. Really, this bit rams at home. Right. She wanted to be a teacher. Her father lost in time and arranged her to go away to university to be trained. She refused to go. Her parents and new home meant so much to her that she couldn't bring herself to leave them. She behaved like a young child, clinging to her mother and following her around everywhere. It seemed that she was trying to recover the lost years of her childhood. And, lost years of her childhood because she lost them. It's tragic, really, isn't it? I love this book. It's absolutely incredible. And I really, really hope that, no matter how old you are, this book deserves to be read. The Silver Sword by Ian Serraillier. It's not what it says, it's what it doesn't say. It's a book for children, but things that are hinted of. Starvation, pain, degradation, PTSD. It's an incredible book, and I really, really do recommend it. Sign off here.